Welcome back. We have Shelby Volo starting off the show with us today from Abbott Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. We're talking today a little bit about how your financial advisor should be adding value to your portfolio.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's kind of come into the market where people are asking, you know, what does my advisor provide for value? Because they just introduced a new program called CRM, so now all of the fees are on your statement and people know exactly what they're paying for. So you have to make sure that your advisor is providing you value, and there's lots of ways that they can do that. Because some people say, like, what do they provide me? Are they worth it, right?
Sure.
So I've done a couple slides. So again, how do we add value? So second slide there. These are some great questions to ask yourself and just say, maybe it is worth paying someone to do this for me.
Right.
So what happens when you're confused about what investments you should have or do have? So this is important because a lot of people are confused about what they have. It might not meet their risk tolerance. A lot of people think they have a higher risk tolerance than they actually do. And a lot of the time you don't know what underlying companies are invested are held within that fund. So that's one thing your advisor should be doing. We go to seminars, we're going all over the place to be updated. We get constant updates every day. So we're managing all that instead of yourself.
Can you give me an example of a fund that says one thing but might have a list of different companies under it?
Yeah, so there could be something like a Canadian dividend fund, and it's gonna hold 10 underlying funds in it, and other funds, so there's a balance fund. So they might hold bonds as well as equities. So you don't know which type of companies they're holding.
Okay.
And everyone is different.
Right.
And back to that slide there. So do the investments suit your needs and risk tolerance? I mentioned that one. What is your response when the market goes down? A lot of people are emotional investors. So when you have someone by your side who's your advisor, you can call them when you're kind of in a panic and you know the market's gone down and you want to pull out, which is the worst thing you can possibly do in a down market. So you kind of want someone there to coach you through, and honestly in a down market you want to give them money, not take money out, because you're getting things at a discount. The next one, how do you determine how much you need to save so you can retire comfortably? A lot of people don't want to think about this. They don't know how to plan for it. So they wait until, you know, a few years prior to retirement to really start planning this, which is also not really a great strategy. So the earlier you meet with an advisor, they can actually predict how much you need given your personal income, what you want to have in retirement, and really run those figures for you and make a retirement plan.
And that's a huge one. I think a lot of people, like you say, sort of sail blindly into their late 50s thinking I'm going to be fine on time. They don't really know.
Spend today, save later, right?
And
that's kind of
comes.
the generation we're in. And
Yes.
so it's important that we're not going in that direction.
Totally.
And just that slide up, there's a couple more there. Do you know how your portfolio will react in certain market conditions? So some people, like I said, think they're high risk investors. You shouldn't be all high risk. That's not really a good strategy. So you need to know what funds you're in, how they're going to react in the market, and make sure you've balanced appropriately. And the last one, do you think your portfolio needs adjustments through your lifetime in different life stages? So what you need and when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s is going to be different when you're leading up to retirement. And then when you do retire, again, you're going to need fund switches. So do you know what all of those are? Do you know how they should be positioned? The answer is probably no, because it's not your job to know how to do that stuff.
Right.
So again, that's where your advisor really does provide value.
Yes.
And then my next slide. So again, how do we add value? You can see right near the bottom there, it says people who invested for 4 to 6 years had, I'm pretty blind, so I can't read that. I think it was about 1.6 times the savings of those without advice. People between 7 and 14 years have 2 times, and anyone 15 plus years has 2 times what people who didn't have advice saved. So it shows you right there in the statistics that it is really important that A, you start early, and B, you have advice along the way.
Yeah. All right,
And
next
then
slide.
next one. So again, these are just some bullet points on how we add value. There's some pretty good stats here. Advice positively impacts retirement readiness. You can see right there, higher household savings. There was a really good one about how it benefits the Canadian economy because 10% more Canadian households chose to save. And then that wealth created 4.8 billion of our GDP. That's what we would grow.
Right.
So that's really important as well. So there's so many different factors that make it important.
Absolutely. Is that our last slide?
No, we got another one.
One more.
And again, how we add value. So the qualitative of advice, maintaining a long-term investment strategy, protecting against poor financial decisions, which again, we're here to coach you through.
Right.
Avoid emotional investing, pulling out when it's high, and pointing out when it's low and then buying when it's high, because that's not a great strategy. And where do we also come in handy? We keep you accountable, keep you on track with your goal setting, making sure you stay on track that way. Objectivity, we avoid emotional decisions. We're there for those key moments, and we're proactive, managing all of your life's transitions, making those changes when it's necessary. And lastly, we're a partnership. So we want to work collaboratively with you and make some good choices for you through every step of your life.
Right, yes. Why not go to an expert if you're not an expert yourself? That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Saving yourself time and money and making positive decisions. Thank you, Shelby.
Yes, thanks for having me.
If you have any questions for Abbott Wealth, information on the screen as well as the phone number 372-3736. We're back after a quick break. Stay with us.